So, if y'all been listening to Her Nut Matters and previously Provocative, if you've been listening to my show and you've been keeping up with my kink journey, you know that I am a very kinky person. Even before I knew I was kinky, I was very experimental and knew that I would try damn near anything once, twice if I like it. And obviously that was before I knew that, like people be out here dookie on people and stuff. And I like at that, then I was like, oh, maybe I won't do anything once because you can't dookie on me.
I had to think about that.
And so, as I've grown in my kink journey, there is something in particular that I haven't tried.
What's that?
Relax. I'm gonna get there.
Oh, my bad.
Slow down, Jim Shoe. All right, so there are some things that obviously, again, I've tried a lot of shit, but there's still some shit that even the freak hostess has not tried. And so we actually gonna get into that today on this episode. There is going to be a Patreon exclusive episode where you guys will see the scene kind of carry out. But y'all know that I'm into bondage. I'm into BDSM shit. I am a switch, so I can be dominant. I can be submissive. Very much bratty. I can be whatever the fuck I need to be in the moment. And I love that for me because sometimes you just don't know what the fuck you're going to get when it comes to me. And I love that. I love that because I'm not a predictable ass bitch. I don't want you to be able to be like, oh yeah, I know what she's finna do. No, you don't. I might bark, nigga. Rough. So, in today's episode, we go
Coming to America shit.
In today's episode, we gonna talk about this gonna be a kinky episode. We gonna talk about some kinky shit. We gonna talk about some BDSM stuff. Specifically bondage and fire play. Now, y'all know that I be playing around with ropes and stuff. I typically do the tie-in, but I've never played with fire outside of like fucking with fire signs. Like, love me a good Aries. But outside of playing with that kind of fire, I don't really play with fire. And I think even like the water sign in me, fire don't intimidate me. Like, fire don't intimidate me, but I've never really was like, oh, I think I'm curious about fire play until now. And so, yeah, that's what today's episode is going to be about. And so I'm going to allow my guest to introduce himself because, again, I'm not the fire play expert. Like, I'm not. Obviously, as a kink educator, I know a lot about a lot of different things, but fire play is not something that I actually offer as a service. And so, yeah.
Welcome to Her Nut Matters, the podcast that dives headfirst into all things sex, pleasure, and empowerment. I'm Jody, your unapologetic guide to a more liberated sex life. Here we break down taboos, celebrate sexuality, and explore what it means to truly own your pleasure. So whether you're curious, kink-friendly, or just looking for ways to spice things up, you're in the right place. Now let's get to it.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Sir Meech. I'm a daddy dom, pleasure dom, sensual dom. Fire play is a form of temperature play. There's many forms. You can go ice if you wanted to, or fire.
I don't like ice either. I ain't too fond of ice. But you know what? I think that I probably just need to revisit it because the only time I've used ice, again, I be doing the shit to other people. And so ain't nobody put no ice on me. But I put ice on somebody's son. And so, yeah.
Was it ice cubes or like it was
ice
little
cube?
Ice? See, it's like me. I don't just do it with ice. I do it like I put a set of chains in the freezer and let it get cold. And once you hot, like your body is warm from playing, cool it off with some chains.
I ain't mad at that. But go ahead.
But back to the fire play. It's generally just using fire and grazing it against the skin, and you get the warm sensation. Some people can handle it sitting on their skin. It just depends on gauging their sensations and how much they can take.
So you do temperature play. What else do you do?
I do shibari.
Okay.
I do electro play. I do flogging, which are these here. I do impact play. Breath play.
Love breath play.
It's
Love breath play.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of other things that I'll just leave to the imagination for right now.
Nah, you don't gotta leave that to imagination. Tell us.
It's crazy. All right, so I recently was asked to fist somebody.
Okay, I am not with that.
Man, but who am I to deny someone their pleasure?
I'm not mad at that. Ain't nobody sticking no fist in me.
This is a big hand.
Yeah, that's a big ass hand. I've heard that some people be liking feet in them too. They be wanting to get footed.
That's a little too much.
Yeah, I saw that shit on Instagram somewhere. This man with this fucking big ass foot was like he be sticking his feet in people.
So if a woman came and asked you to stick your foot in it, would you?
Huh? What did you say?
If a woman came and asked you to stick your foot in it, would you?
No.
For the right amount, you would.
What's the right amount?
Well, for this fist, and I feel like I lowball myself.
Well, how much you charge for your fist?
500.
$500 for your fist? I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about my foot being in the coochie.
I agree. I wouldn't do the foot though.
Like, do I like wiggle my toes at that point? Like, I don't.
Not in the
I
pussy,
genuinely don't know how I feel about my foot being in a coochie. Like, I feel like I would. I don't think.
Technically.
Yeah.
Technically,
I'm not
too.
mad at that. Like, my whole
Two
body
of them.
came out of coochie. I'm not putting my whole body in a coochie. Like,
I hope not.
if
That's-
you
what?
could, if you could,
Just-
look, not dive in there. Yeah, I don't know how I would even be able to angle my foot. Like, do I just start like kicking it or
tiptoe.
something? Like, I like, cause it's like, all right, if I take my foot, cause y'all, I have a small foot. I wear a kid's 5. Yeah, like, and so when I put my foot in there, like, do I like do like this? Like, I don't know how it. I don't know, like,
Okay, what
twirl
if she
it a
laying
little
down
bit.
and you standing up? Would you just?
If she's laying down and then I'm like standing like up or something like that, now I'm like kind of like, I don't know. I just wouldn't know how to foot somebody. Like,
I don't know either.
and so, yeah, I don't know. I would have to do more research on that. If somebody asked me to stick my foot in them, I'd be like, hold up. I don't think I am prepared to do this activity. And so I'm going to have to go back and do some research. And I'm going to have to see what, what's the market prices? Like, what is everybody selling their feet for before I commit to this? Because I'm not going to tell you like, yeah, I stick my foot in that pussy for $500, but you was paying $2,000.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a big difference.
Nah, like, and I'm gonna talk you through this foot. Like, girl, take this foot. Take this foot. That pussy wet. It's like your juice is all between my toes and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yes, all right, you said you recently fisted somebody. What else you into?
I'm going to.
Oh, you're
soon.
going
Yes,
to.
yes,
Oh,
she
okay,
booked
cool.
it.
She
That's
booked
all,
it.
that's
All right,
all,
she
yes.
booked a fisting session.
What else do I do? That's pretty much rounding it out.
Okay, all right, cool. I don't know why you was afraid to tell us you trying to fist somebody.
I mean, if you want it.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so how long have you been doing this?
Officially 3 years. Studying and practicing 7.
Okay. What made you get to studying it and practicing?
I mean, I always was a kinky individual as a kid.
When did you first know you was kinky?
The first time I had sex.
Okay. How old were you?
Probably like 10, 11.
Okay. How old was the person?
12, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it wasn't assault.
It wasn't.
Okay.
We was just kids being kids.
Yeah.
It happens, man. I'm grown now. Look, it happens.
Yeah, for sure. And we don't judge. I just know, like, the only reason why I asked her age is because I feel like a lot of Black men in particular be talking about how they started having sex at this age and that age, and then they always say like it was a older woman, and I'm like,
nah, it wasn't that much older. It was
yeah.
That was that one for a minute until I left it alone until high school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So cool. All right. I've never experienced fire play. And so let's talk a little bit more about that. Like, what was the first thing you practiced, and then was it fire play first, or like at what point did you get involved with temperature play?
The first thing I started out with when I was prepping to be a dom was actually wax. Wax followed by shibari, then fire.
Mm-hmm.
Wax is another form of temperature play, which most love.
Yeah.
Which also turns to involving knife play because you have to scrape the wax off the body. Knife play is another sensation that I do. I don't think I mentioned that. But with fire, there's a lot of multiple points. Like, I've made 4 people squirt from fire.
Nice. It's lovely. Nice. I've done wax play on a young lady at a play party, and that was super lit. So it was a combination of impact play with the wax play. So as I was dripping the wax on her, I was also spanking her. And so just the varying of that was, it took her all the way there. Like it was beautiful to watch. It was like very beautiful to watch her just kind of release. Like she's like,
it's real thrill rushing when you see someone releasing themselves. You know what I'm saying? It gets me going. That's what I get out of most of the things I do, seeing the reactions that I get from someone. I love that.
Yeah. I definitely think that'd be again, I'm a switch. So the dom part of me just kind of comes out a little bit in those moments. And so, like, there aren't too many opportunities for you to just kind of like be free and not really let go in a space that is safe and non-judgmental. So anybody that chooses me as the person that they want to do a play scene with, I think it's like, I don't take that for granted. Like, I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Like,
I feel the same way or even if they ask me to do it, I'll be like, I'm honored. I would love that. And then it just makes me feel good about myself and my work that you're taking the time out to notice my work. So
yeah, for sure. Can you walk us through your journey a little bit more specific? Like, was it like when you decided? So you said you've been studying for about 7 years, and then you've been actually doing for about 3. So like, let's talk about that journey.
Okay, so I started going to little parties and things, going out. One of the parties my friend invited me to, the group's called The Office.
Yeah.
Little events.
Yeah. Torrey was on the show, so they're familiar with
27th for his birthday, coming to America. But she invited me there, and I got locked in with them. Later on down the year, they had another event, Freakoween, and I met my soon-to-be mentor, Mistress Urban Kingster. And for me, I wanted to get mentored by a female dom versus a male dom. I'm a male. I know how to be dominant. I know how to be strong. I want to be sensual. I want to be sexual. I want to be sexy. You know what I'm saying? That feminine touch that most don't have in men. You know what I'm saying? It's either rough or too hard or. So that seemed to work for me. I studied under her for 5 years. For the first 3. She would invite me to events. I would just go, and literally, she even told the people I was eye candy. I was there to look, learn, study, figure out what I liked and what I wanted to add under my belt. And I did that for about 3 years, and then we started studying together. We started doing things, and she started me with wax play. I started doing shibari on my own because I went to an event with her, and I got suspended for my first time. I normally don't bottom. But that was the first time I bottomed, and it was for a suspension, and I loved it.
Yeah. So, guys, just in case you don't understand what he means by bottomed, that's when you're in like a submissive sort of role. So the activity that's taking place is happening to you. And so if you are, for example, a rope bunny with a rigger, the rigger being someone who is tying you up, the rope bunny being the person that is tied up, the rope bunny is in the role of the bottom. I am someone, again, as a switch, I call myself a power bottom, even if I'm bottoming, because there's always going to be some sort of active role when it comes to me and scenes that I do, because I don't allow people just to do stuff to me. And
as you should.
Yeah, because again, that's that bratty switch sub part of me coming out.
Especially if you ain't, vetted and negotiated with
people. Yeah. But you know what? But that's why also, like, when it comes to stuff like that, outside of like my actual sexual partner, I don't engage in a lot of scenes outside, like not in a submissive capacity. Like I'm typically the dom in a lot of play scenes if it's not with my primary partner. With my primary partner, even still, I'm dominant, but when I do bottom, it's very power bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like bottoming more or topping?
Both, neither.
Okay.
Like, I'm a switch. I am a true switch.
Sometimes you'll lean towards a little more. I'm just
No, I don't lean towards one or the other. I truly don't. Like, I think I've mastered the art of dominating through submission.
Okay.
And so even with that, like, I've had conversations with people and I talk about how, like, I suck a lot of dick and they think like sucking dick is submissive. I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy if you think that. You're crazy if you think that. And it's because all of your power is literally in my mouth. Like the person who's like, I'm in control of this. Like, and so I'm very dominant when I'm sucking dick. Like I'm very in control. I'm very much paying attention to your reaction. The person I'm doing this to you. You're the bottom. Like,
essentially.
Yeah, you're the bottom.
And then when you think about it, essentially all around, the sub still holds all the power.
For sure.
Regardless, because if it's something that she doesn't want to do, if she says no, the scene isn't happening.
Exactly.
So from the jump, you are in charge. Technically, it doesn't matter where you're the sub and you have a dom. You're in charge.
Exactly. So it's like, for me, I'm in charge in two different ways, because that's why I say, like, even when I dominate through submission, it's like I'm always in control of everything that's taking place. Even if I got super submissive, and guys, we talked about this on the show before, just that kind of like the beauty of DS dynamics is that the sub basically draws the lines and the dom has to color within those lines. He can use different colors based on the colors that the sub tells him to use. So if me as the sub, I say you can use red, green, and blue. Those are the only colors you can use. And these are the lines. You use those three colors within the lines, but you use them however you want. Maybe maybe you use mostly red and a little bit of green and it's still up to, kind of like them to, again, color within those lines. So that's just the analogy that I like to give people to kind of illustrate who's really in control. And that's why 50 Shades of Grey really fuck people's heads up about what BDSM really is, because that wasn't it. Actually, if you are in the Patreon Skinemax episodes, check those out. Because we definitely did 50 Shades of Grey, and I had a lot of shit to say.
I might have to go check that out.
Yes. So, you were studying under your mentor.
Mr. Servant Kingston. The House of Lotus, that is the house I represent. So after I started there, like the fifth year, she just started telling me to go ahead, show the world what you got. Like, in those years that I was studying, she told me not to post, not to say anything, not to show anything.
Which was good advice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had my content, I had things that I've done, but she told me not to post. She told me don't show anything, don't do anything.
Not until you were serious.
Or been ready, you know what I'm saying? Until she felt I was ready. So, about the fifth year, she told me, she was like, all right, go show them what you got. Let it loose. And I've just been taking off from there.
Nice. That's good. What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do?
Yeah. What's like your favorite activity?
Honestly, Shibari.
Okay. Why?
It's therapeutic. I literally get...
Not mad at that.
I get lost when I'm doing it. Like, it's therapeutic for some who's getting it done to them, but for me, to see where I started and then the outcome, the whole process of it is therapeutic and calming to me. Like, I get lost in my rope.
I love that. Second favorite?
Fire.
All right. Let's talk more about fire. Let's talk more about fire. We'll talk, about some Shibari stuff, but let's talk more about fire. Yeah. Talk to us about your fire journey. Because you said you started out with wax play. Like, what was the first time where you was like, okay, I'm finna play with some fire?
Okay, so my first time with fire, I started with wax actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I want to see if I can remelt it on her. And I started just tapping it on her. But through her, how you started it, it was like you'll rub your hand through the fire on a skewer, I guess you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll rub your hand, feel it for a minute. But then if you have someone there, you do that as well. You'll take the fire, rub it so they'll feel how warm it is. You don't just tap it on their body. You don't just go in there. You warm them up to it. Give them the sensation of feeling a little heat early. Don't just...
Y'all not just out here burning bitches, okay? We not out. We don't do that. We don't do that. We not just like lighting a fire and we not roasting them like some fucking s'mores. All right, go ahead.
So it's normally quick taps when you do it. You don't, unless, like I said, there's some people that can take it being drug across their skin. You don't typically do that though. You quick tap and swipe away. That way it's just a quick warming sensation on the skin. I went from there to exploring more things. Like I make fire bubbles that ignite, and they're bubbles. It's amazing. It's pretty much just for show, the fire aesthetic of it. No, you will not get burned. You don't feel anything but a little heat. I also have a fire glove where my hand is on fire and I can rub it across your ass.
Did you bring that?
Yes, I believe I did.
Okay. All right, cool. Patreon. Be ready for that in Patreon.
Then I just started exploring areas where I can sit the fire. You would think you would be burned around the clitoris area being fanned by a fire, but you're really just getting waves of heat, and it's actually pleasing.
Okay. So I know you do the fire on other people. Have you ever experienced it? Have you been on the receiving end of that? So has anybody like fire waved your dick?
No. Has not.
Peter back laughing at me.
Crazy.
Like
what? Is crazy. What?
Fire wave.
No, the only person I have let touch me with fire is my mentor, and it's been up top.
Okay, all right. I'm doing too much.
For some, maybe not. For me, hell yeah.
They don't want your pubes burned. It's getting hot in here.
Hot fish kebab. Hell no.
Roasted nuts.
Roasted peanuts. I'm cool.
Chestnuts are roasted
on
the
bunnies.
Sick as fuck.
Sheesh.
Okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are a bit intimidated or afraid of fire. How do we make it safe? How do you kind of like? I know you said like, all right, a couple taps and rub, but how do you really, help people feel comfortable with fire?
For most, I'll tap it on myself to show them.
See, look, it feels okay.
No, seriously, because in the moment, it's like if you see me doing it, all right.
But
look.
also the reason it's like on the one hand, I'm not mad at it. On the other hand, I tell people like, just cause you can't tell me what's gonna feel good on my body based on what feels on your body. Like what?
Hey, look. You can't say that if you ask me to do it, all right, I'm gonna calm you, but you can't go that route and be like, I understand. It might not feel the same.
No, I just had to say that. I had to get that out. Cause what? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but it's really like with rope, I can calm them down. With fire, they're always gonna be intimidated because it's fire. Like
unless they like fire already. If you're not somebody that like when you light your lighter, for the smokers, for the smokers, if you don't light your lighter and already do little shit like that, because I do that. That's why I'm like, again, I don't think I was ever really intimidated by fire. I just didn't have the curiosity for it either. But now, I'm curious.
Pique curiosity.
Yeah. And Patreon.
I don't really know how to soothe people. I'm not gonna lie, because that's the best way I can is give my example, and then I'll tap them once. So if you feel it and you say no after that, it ain't for you. And there's been plenty of times where it's like, all right, I'm gonna show you how I feel on me, what it's gonna look like. Quick taps. You see it's not burning, you see it's not sitting. Now give me your hand. Warm it up with my hand first while they feel the heat.
Right.
I'm finna tap you. Now, if I tap them and swipe and they go, hell no, then we putting this up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nah, I fucks with it. I fucks with it mainly because, you know, I think some people out there might be thinking like you just go straight into it. And as, you know, you dom, I dom. Anytime I'm negotiating a scene, I always go slow. I'm never, we not just getting to it. And I think a lot of people that just have sex in that way without foreplay, without warming up, they are used to projecting that sort of routine onto situations where, nah, we actually, you know, like we know what are, you know, the people that, the person and or people that are in this scene, what feels good to them because we're communicating with them throughout. We're checking in with them throughout. We're saying like, how does this feel?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Like,
so with me, I normally do a color system. It's red,
I like,
yellow,
let me say
green.
this. I like whispering in people's ears.
That is so fun.
I like that shit so bad. So like, I've done scenes on men and women and I always like, tell me how I feel. Like, I just get to whispering and it's like, even that, like being in their ear and I'm saying like, tell me how I feel.
I like to do that when I'm playing with my breath play and it's just
Hold it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you to let it go. Look at me.
Yeah, that should be
hold
sexy. That should be sexy.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, you said you got a color system.
the color system is red, yellow, and green. Green being you're good to go.
Yep.
Yellow, you're warm. Red, you're stopping.
You like green.
Oh my God.
Yellow. Yellow.
You call red, that's the end of the scene altogether.
Red. I can't say red in the regular voice, but red, nigga, red. Red.
Stop. Unhand me, heathen.
Right. Okay. Do you use safe words outside of the color system?
Because if they choose and
if they
wish to,
I feel like some people don't like. Some people they're like, okay, cool, I'm with a safe word, but others are like, I don't know. Like they trivialize the whole process.
Yeah.
So the color system
some
makes
come with
sense.
their own safe word, and then some come with, do you have a safe word? And no, I don't.
I
use
can't
safe words.
I can't
tell you your safe word. So my thing I do is this color. When you feeling either way, you can go right off of this green, yellow, red. Okay.
One time I was doing this scene with somebody and I asked him, it was a man, and I asked him what his safe word was, and he said dick. And I
was just finna say that. I got one of those, and I was like, ma'am,
like, I don't know how to feel about this safe word. I don't know how to feel about this safe word.
I'm like, man.
You as a man telling me that your safe word is dick. Why was that the only word that made
first word? Did he much? Did he do it?
I was just very confused, and it threw me off for the whole scene a little bit. I proceeded, but I was like, it ain't like you don't like. It ain't like a random food you don't like or something like broccoli or some shit like cauliflower. Like what the fuck are we talking? Why is dick the first thing? And then he was like, oh, well, what would your safe word be? Red?
I mean, was he on the other team or?
Not that I'm aware of. Okay. I'm just telling you, and I don't ask questions that ain't my business either. Right. Very much big on that. Like, if you volunteer information, by all means, but I don't know. It just threw me all the way off. I was like,
you weren't prepared for that.
I wasn't prepared for dick being his safe word. Like, yellow. Like, I don't, like, it could have been fire hydrant for all I fucking care. Like, any fucking thing.
Like, I was about to say, that's like him letting you know, I'm really not fucking with whatever you doing. Because here I am, a heterosexual man in the middle of this shit. And
yelling dick.
Yeah, that ain't
but
it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you got to a point where you yell dick,
you gonna stop.
But now I'm like,
but you stopped.
I would have stopped at any safe word you gave me. But yeah, you could have been like, I don't fucking know.
At any safe word, you might have not have been like, you sure you can't?
No, and I didn't do that. I was
fucked you up.
Yeah, like he fucked me up, and I let him keep his safe word. I'm like, don't let me. Look, like, let me poker face as much as I can. My poker face is like 50-50. Like it's not always reliable, guys. And if you've been watching the show, you know. We'll just leave it at that.
What's your safe word?
What's my safe word? Red.
Okay, cool. Color system, great.
Yeah, like I'm perfectly fine with red. Like I don't think it has to be trivial. Like or my fucking safe word is Alicia Keys.
Lies. You don't even.
That's why.
Never mind. Makes sense.
Alicia Keys. If I say Alicia Keys,
stop.
I'm mad now. This girl is on fire. The moment I say some shit like that, I'm pissed.
That's gonna be your safe word.
Alicia Keys. Alicia fucking Keys.
I'm gonna get to this girl is on fire.
Please don't sing it.
You gotta put this on the video.
Oh my God. I don't know what it's like certain things I just hate so bad. I hate a whole lot of questions.
Oh my God, I just have to make a post about that.
Yeah.
Like, bro, book a consultation or something. Stop asking me questions.
Even during consultations, I'll get a little irritated. I'm like, you sure I didn't answer this question in the description already? Because I'm very thorough. I make sure I be answering
myself.
Yeah, like I don't like it. And I just feel like now you don't read. And I don't like that either. But how do you approach aftercare?
Aftercare immediately. So whether it's fire, whether it's rope. When it's fire, like I said, sometimes for some, I grab my cool chains, cool their body down. We go outside, I hug them, we sit and cuddle. There's some where they simply want to just talk and go over what just happened. So, and that's totally fine. If you want to have a dissertation on what just happened, we can do that. That's a form of aftercare. Yeah. But for like typically fire, I put something cool on your body just to bring your temperature down a little bit, not super cold. Unless you're like really hot, because scenes like that, your body can get hot, like temperature is going up.
I like it. Do you think that there's like some symbolism behind like fire play? Like, what do you think happens to people's psychology when they engage in this? Because like for me, I'll use myself as an example. I know why I like fire. I know why I like breath play. I know I like breath play like a whole lot, right? It's this idea that I could. Okay, so it's a couple things. I like near-death experiences. Like, I like the idea that I'm on the verge of death a little bit. Maybe that's the Scorpio in me, the sign of death and rebirth. I like the idea that, like, in that moment, I'm fighting to breathe. I don't know why. I just do. Also, I know it's also a bit of a trauma response. Growing up, I felt like I couldn't advocate for myself, so I felt like I didn't have a voice. I felt like I felt restricted in that way. So it's like I kind of, in some kind of weird, kinky, twisted way, it's like now I want to own that experience. So now I'm like, choke me, like I'm asking for it. Yeah, do you think like, there's some sort of psychological thing that's happening when people engage with fire?
Truthfully, I don't know. I would say, like for me, I've always played with fire as a kid. I love the sensation of it. I literally can sit with a lighter on my hand for a minute, like just sit this here and go like that for a while. That's how much I love fire. Like I'm sitting here talking to you and I can leave this here.
Yeah.
But some people can't do that.
Right.
I don't know if it's psychological to me, but I just love that feeling, that warmth, and it's not bothering to me. And some people, like, for some people, for rope, it's to get over something traumatic that happened as a kid. So for me,
that's why I like bondage too.
Unless hell, let's say you were in a fire, which honestly, now that I think about it, that might be why I was literally in a fire. Me and my brother before. So, light bulb.
Unpacking shit. I love when we unpack shit on this show. I love the kind of like, oh shit, is there a psychological thing?
Maybe, but no one ever talked about it. But
and the reason, let me tell you guys why I asked that question that way, right? I was reading this book called The Existential Kink. And it talked about how like there's this kind of thin line between trauma and kinkiness. And if you kind of give yourself permission to experience this, you know, like lean into that thing that, so if you experience trauma, you can go this way or you go that way, right? In any random place in between. But for polarizing reasons, you know, for this example, let's say you could either go this way or that way, right? But the trauma is here. You go here or you go here. Over here is like, no, I'm never gonna do it. Now you're shamed, you're embarrassed, you're just not gonna engage with it. Over here, you're like, oh, I'm curious about it now. And so if you give yourself permission to actually like, you know, and it's also like a thin line between pleasure and pain too. The same way there's a thin line between like actually, you know, that pleasure and that trauma. Giving yourself permission to actually like lean into it and say, okay, maybe it wasn't all the, and again, if it was traumatic, it was traumatic. That's not to say that it was not traumatic.
Water it down or nothing.
But can you lean into that experience to find pleasure there?
Take that power back for yourself. Yes, and that's recently I've been getting a lot of, like I said, rope people wanting to take their power back because of that. And it's very enlightening. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's eye-opening for you, the rigor. Like even at Naughty Gras, again, another office event. A woman and her wife. She said she seen me at Exotica, and I did nice rope work. So I went, well, if you would like to be a rope, I would be honored to put you in rope. She told me probably not. She had some things going on, and I expressed to her that I've been dealing with some other people that way that's wanting to get their power back. She started crying, and at the time I didn't understand, but I was consoling her because it's clearly something,
right?
So, I just told her, I was like, well, I do have people that's has the same traumatic experience you have.
Or at least similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not verbatim.
Yeah.
But similar in the ballpark. And I can give you contacts and they can tell you that this is actually helping. I don't want to force you or anything, but it's actually therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
Later on that night, she found me and she was like, I'm going to come to you and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Is it okay if my wife is in the room? I said, fine.
Yeah.
We sat there for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
From 12 at night, I didn't leave their room to about 4 in the morning.
Yeah. And sometimes scenes take a little longer when you are dealing with people that have had some type of traumatic experience and now they're trying to navigate that post-trauma. I've had situations where I know someone who doesn't like to be like blindfolded and tied up. I was able to get them a little bit more comfortable with doing that. They had real bad anxiety. Like literally, I just took it slow. I paid attention to their heartbeat. I paid attention when their heart was racing, and then I consoled them and then eased them into it.
Make sure you talking to them the whole time. I had one that literally I was talking to her and she was like, I need some water. And I was like, okay, let me go get you some water. As soon as I left the room, sir, I need you back in here. I can't see you. I'm finna black out. Ran back to the room. So you have to gauge those. And for some, like I said, you can't even leave them in that presence of, in that tie, in that scene they're in. Because once they see that person that gave them comfort and they're not there, they're back in that traumatic stage.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's definitely like, so when you're engaging in different activities, sexual activities, kink, oriented activities, we have to be mindful of the fact that you have an emotional response. You have where you are mentally. So how are you thinking through and processing the scene? But your nervous system, your body is going to be reacting as well. And you have to make sure that all three of those are on one accord. And sometimes they're not. And sometimes it's not until you're in the scene that you realize like, oh, my body is reacting in this way that I did not anticipate because I hadn't been in this situation before. Now, how do me and the person that I'm having this scene with, how do we navigate this?
Or that also could happen after, which is called a sub drop. Dropping is real, where you just coming from this high euphoria, and now you're not around it anymore, and you just drop, and you get to thinking about everything, and now this scene that you had ties and conflicts with the traumatic thing that you're thinking about and coming back to from being so high and euphoric of pleasure from that, but now you're going down, and you know you're not finna be there. You know it's not. You're not finna get it right now. So now all you have to go off of is I'm going back to my traumatic area. I'm going back to how I really feel about this. So
aftercare is very important. That's what it comes down to, for sure. To wrap up before we get into the Patreon part, what is something that you would want people to walk away knowing as it relates to kink, fireplay, shibari? What would you want to tell people? Whether it be tips, whether it be like, debunking a myth.
I would say take your time, study. Don't just jump into anything with anyone.
Yes.
Vet. Do your vetting. Even if you think you know of this person, go to someone who may know this person and get a record, whole facts, if you want, if you will. Get your information, get the background on that person. Don't just go off that person's word. Again, this is a big community.
And a lot of doms prey on people that do not know what they should be looking for.
Prey on the new people who are trying to learn, and then grooming is a thing.
It is.
I'm going to say it again. Grooming is a thing. So before you just jump into something, make sure you fully know that person. Make sure that person fully knows you. Make sure that person, if that person is finna have a scene with you, he should know your medical history.
Yep.
If he is scening with you, he should know your triggers. If he doesn't know any of those, don't scene. 9 times out of the 10, you're going to come out with a bad experience and then not going to come back.
Yeah. That's good advice. So, let's negotiate the scene right now before we get into the Patreon episode. So, guys, in Patreon, me and Sir Meech are going to do a scene, and we're going to negotiate that right now. I'm going to be a bottom. Told y'all, don't really be bottoming. We'll see. Don't really be doing that. Not really with that shit. But we gonna negotiate it on camera now for this episode, just so that y'all know how it should go. Like the questions that you should be asking, the questions your dom should be asking you, the things that you should be talking about when you negotiate an actual placing. So, yes, I'm ready.
Are you ready? And what all services would you like?
What do you offer?
I offer fireplay, shibari, wax play, impact, breath play, electro play, flogging.
None of those are a hard no for me.
None of those are hard no's.
None of those are hard no's.
You want to do a little bit of everything?
Yes.
Okay. Want to start off with fire though?
Yes.
Heard. Do I have permission to put the fire around your body?
Yes.
Lower body?
Yes.
Tip, top?
Yes.
Okay. Do you happen to know your pain level?
On like a scale?
No. Would you consider yourself a heavy bottom or
I weigh 130 pounds.
That don't matter.
I don't know what heavy means. I'm not.
Smaller than you, likes to get hit.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying heavy. Like, what is that? What does heavy mean? What does heavy mean?
You can take a hit.
Medium?
With a little force behind it.
I don't want to be hit.
And you said everything's on the table. That's flogging. Yeah. That's impact.
Yeah. No, impact is fine, but like, I don't want you to like punch me. I bruise easily.
I wouldn't punch. Okay, I punch some people, but I wouldn't punch you.
Okay.
No,
all right.
We didn't talk about that. I didn't throw that.
Yeah, we're negotiating. You said, can I take a hit? I don't want you to hit me.
Huh? Do I have permission to choke you?
Do you have permission to choke me? No.
Heard. There we go. Now see. That's a no. That means if I happen to choke her.
Guard!
Dick! I'm just playing.
But it should never get to that point because I said no.
Because she said no.
I said no up front.
Exactly. Any place you don't like being tied down?
Place that I don't be.
Some people don't like their wrists tied. Some people don't like their tits tied.
Yeah, I don't. I've never had my titties tied, and I don't think I want to.
Can you tell me why? Do you think it's gonna hurt?
I don't have long titties.
That don't mean nothing.
I just don't.
Why you gotta have long titties to get them tied?
Because I'm like,
They're tieable titties.
They're tieable titties. I didn't tie titties that small.
they're not small. They just not long.
Okay, they don't have to be long. What do you what? Baby, there's juice. I can. What do you look? Listen.
We are negotiating.
Do I have permission? Oh no.
You have permission to tie me up.
And fire.
Yes.
Pretty much
Yeah.
Okay.
Shibari and fire is
I'm gonna
fine.
leave it at that.
I kind of want to do electro play.
Okay. Heard.
Yeah.
Would you want the electro play with the direct shock? It got one that's literally the rod that gives you the shock.
And the reason that I'm
Then
saying I'm curious is because I've
don't
only
know.
experienced electro play once, and so I don't really know how I feel about it.
When
so
you got that one, did it feel like a tattoo?
nah, it felt like laser hair removal surgery.
Okay.
Like laser hair removal. I've gotten laser hair removal, so it just
Okay.
felt zap.
Okay.
Zap.
We can do that. We can do that. Heard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, guys, that is it for the regular episode of Her Nut Matters. As you can see, we're going to go behind Patreon wall right now. If you are not in a Patreon, you should be. We have a lot of amazing things in the Patreon, a lot of exclusive stuff that will not be seen anywhere else except in Patreon. There are also different tiers. Even if you join as a free member, you'll begin to get notifications about all of the amazing things that come through in the Patreon. And then on your time, when you're ready, you can decide to upgrade your tier. But even if you're just a free member, you'll still get access to the regular episodes. And if you want to link the Patreon to your Apple Podcast or Spotify apps, you can do that as well. So this is me strongly recommending that you sign up for Patreon even as a free member, because I don't know. Remember when Skinemax was happening on all the Apple and podcast apps and then it miraculously went away? Maybe that might happen to something else. So just sign up for Patreon, guys. Again, even as a free member, it just do it, please, because you love me. Download the Patreon app. Look for Her Nut Matters. And yeah, that's all we got for today's episode. Make sure you guys are remembering to like, subscribe, share with a friend. And like I said, download that Patreon app. So we are going to go into the Patreon portion of this episode. So I'll see y'all later.
Thanks for tuning in to Her Nut Matters. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the pleasure with others. Follow us on Instagram at Her Nut Matters to stay updated on everything we have going on. Remember, pleasure is power. Go out there and own yours. Catch you next time.